Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I will be checking out a new track from Humanity's Last Breath called Labyrinthian. I've covered a little bit of this band on the channel, listened to all of their discography. I really dig their sound. I think we know what to somewhat expect, but I always keep the options open. I will link all their social media as well as the music video I'll be using in the reaction portion of this, any promotional links in the description. I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Are you kidding me? What right does that have to be so groovy? Humanity's Last Breath, Labyrinthian. Let's discuss. first thing for me to mention is the mix. Immaculate, unsurprising to me. Buster was really one of the first people who, when I began to like look into who did the production on this, all of that, Buster was one of the first people I was really able to like identify the sound before looking to see who it was. I'd be like, this, I know this is Buster, and then you look, it's Buster. It was really came to be with the Elysian EP. It was like, I know, even though this is much different than anything, it doesn't have to be like a band that he's actively a member in. It's got to do with the production. There are a lot of bands that Buster works with that have such a special sound, and it really takes, like, you can hear the Buster in it, but I feel like these bands really take their own shape. For example, Alt and Elysian, very different, but have that Buster sound in them, and still, like, you would be able to pick them easily out of a lineup, I think, at least. Anyway, with this track, I like this. I do think I liked a little bit of the newer material more. I'm not sure what it is about, like, that unpredictability with some of it. I just love that, but this will, not to be, like, misrepresent myself or anything, this will go on repeat for me as well. That the groove that hits, I think it's the second half of the song, definitely. I should have got a timestamp before starting my outro, but I did not. But that second half, you know the groove I'm talking about, though. The riff there, it was probably gonna go into my 2023 riff of the year playlist. It just really hits for me. I think in terms of what I was talking about preferring some of the newer material to this track, I'm not sure why. A lot of times I don't love stuff that's so unpredictable. I don't know that progressive is really what I wanna label it, but because normally progressive is like the checkbox for me. But there's just something in the way that some other bands, I think, that could even be like compared to Humanity's Last Breath, the way that they do it, it just, like, it feels very all over the place to me. And this has been a band that since the first time I listened to a track from them, that chaoticness just really worked for me. But I think that this is not like, you know, it's not two separate sounding bands or anything. So it's not like a big, you get what I'm trying to say here. I still really dig this track. I'm going to do more listening. And this is one of those things where I feel like a month from now, when I've listened to this a bunch, that could really change. I'm not totally sure. Another thing I wanted to mention that I really love is the high screams. They're almost used as like backing, but not really. And it's like, I think, two parts where you can really hear it in the song, so it's like sprinkled in, and I think that adds to it. On a song where I like don't love the rest of what's happening with it, or I don't feel it lives up to like the part I'm looking forward to, that's not always a good thing. But with this, where I enjoy the rest of the song, it just feels sprinkled, like it's better than overdone to me. It's one of those like a treat in there. Obviously, I already mentioned my favorite riff, but the guitar work on this, I think, is one of the things to me that felt a little bit more, I don't want to say like, I don't want to make it sound like it has a formula or something, because it's not at all like that. But when you compare it with some other tracks, I just feel it has more of, like, you're on the first listen, you're able to headbang with this pretty quick, like, easily. Whereas some tracks they have, you get caught up. Tripped up is what I usually call it, when you're like hearing a song for the first time and then all of a sudden it like totally changes and you're headbanging to nothing, or it like it just switches tempo on you, something like that. So I think it kept more of like kept more in line in terms of that, while still being very Humanity's Last Breath. To touch back on what I was just talking about, I guess it's like a little bit chuggier in places than technical or kind of wild feeling. Some of the riffs that they have in their just discography in general are very wacky, and though I would call this is an extremely groovy track. I guess that would be the comparison, groovy versus wacky. And I'm here for both sounds. They are both sounds that go onto the playlist for me, onto repeat. It's kind of like the balancing two things you love, so there's not really like a bad outcome. Sometimes there's like a change that's very different and it does not work. This doesn't feel that way at all. So this will be a track that goes onto the playlist for me. Really, even though there may be stuff in their discography that I prefer to this, it's not a case where I would like want to see something different with this. again, I cannot speak highly enough of the mix on this. It is just like ideal. The grooviness of this, it's just a great track. So I'll be looking forward to the album for sure. I'll cover any upcoming singles and the record in August when that's out. All the social media, the music video I used for Humanity's Last Breath in the description of this video. You can also find my link tree there that will have the Patreon, my Twitch channel, the Discord server, which is where the community for my YouTube channel is based. On Twitch, I'm streaming a few times a week now. I'm trying. This past week I was sick, so it didn't really work out the way I wanted, but that's the plan. And then I'm also still doing weekly live streams for requests on YouTube. The Patreon, we have monthly live streams. I've got various things I'm offering there, all listed in the tiers. That's pretty much it. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.